dimension of imagination.
Nation, what is good? Very special episode today. I believe this man will have no need for an introduction. We have Mark Zuckerberg. I have to start practicing this, Mark. I've been in a bunch of meetings saying Meta, just a lot of practice. You really threw me for a curveball.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it too.
Obviously, Mark is at the helm and head of Meta, and I'm really excited to be talking to him because I really want to get into the Metaverse and the Web3. First hot take. I know you've had this big, announcement the other day. What is your just kind of macro thesis of the Web3 place we're going? Whether it's the Metaverse, the NFT stuff, like what are we on the precipice of, and how similar is it to the time where right before Facebook was launched?
Yeah, so the Metaverse to me today feels like the next frontier in social connection in much the same way that social networking did when I was getting started back in 2004. And, that's a big reason why we wanted to change the brand of the company is that, today I think most people think about us as a social media company. But in our DNA, we're a technology company that builds all kinds of different technology to help people connect and tries to advance human connection. And of course, social media is one important part of that. But I think increasingly, it's going to be about building platforms and experiences that deliver this sense of presence, like you're right there with another person. So there's, of course, all the virtual and augmented reality parts of that, and there's the hardware, and I'm really excited about that, the work that we've been, we've been working on that for 7 years now at this point, so that's making a lot of progress. But I think some of the experiences are starting to come together too. So, we've started to release Horizon and workrooms and some of these experiences where you can feel like you're present with someone in a place. It's just pretty crazy to see how that's taking off. And it's not just games. Games I think is the natural starting point, but beyond that, we're starting to see at this point that social interaction and just hanging out is starting to become the biggest way that people spend time on these platforms. That kind of makes sense. I mean, we've been talking about this internally for many years, right? I mean, we've been working on these VR devices for 7 years. We've just sort of steadily ramped up the investment to the point where now in 2021, we're investing $10 billion, more than $10 billion in this. So it's still not the biggest part of what we do, but it's very meaningful. I think that you'd be hard pressed to find any other organization that cares as much about this and is putting as much energy into building all these different parts of the future. And what I think you get for that is that Meta has become the premier place that if you care about these problems, you want to go work on them, right? So whether that's VR, we're building the best devices. AR, I think we're the furthest ahead in terms of actually building the consumer glass form factor and all the different research around that. You mentioned any of the other problems around that, whether it's haptics, or a lot of the software parts of this where people can interact. We're going to be the place where you can build all these different parts of the Metaverse experience and then also weave them into Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp.
Feel different parts of the glove actuating on the fingertips because there's multiple actuators on the fingertip. Nice. Why don't you go ahead and try taking one of those blocks out. Is if you want to get rid of these little finger springs. An example of a more complicated interaction you could do with your hands. We can even shake hands. How often do you get to shake hands, in COVID days? We were actually kind of missing that connection with people, right?
Fist bump.
We do fist bump.